May I come in, sir?
Yes, come in.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Please be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Are you vaccinated?
Yes, sir.
You can remove your mask. Briefly introduce yourself to the board.
Sir, I am Antriksh Jain and I belong to district Mohali of Punjab. I have completed my BTech in Mechanical Engineering from Chandigarh Engineering College, Mohali. After that, I have done job at Saint Gobain Glass India for 10 months. And since last 2 years, I have been preparing for civil services. If I talk about my interests, that include palmistry, playing badminton, and abstract paintings.
Okay. Antriksh, your name is very unique. What does it mean?
Sir, it means space.
Space.
Yes.
Any correlation of your personality with that of space?
As of now, sir, I cannot correlate. However, there are some similarities. I believe, for example, I am too talkative. So just like space, which is beyond any limits, sometimes I am being talkative.
You also
just
sky
like
is
that.
the limit, isn't it?
Yes.
Tell me one thing. Unemployment is becoming a huge issue in our country. Even ILO in its report has pointed out that unemployment is increasing in India. Similarly, reports of CMIE, which you must have heard, or NSSO, they are also presenting a very gloomy picture. So in this context, let me ask you, whose responsibility or whose job is to create jobs, whether it is the state government or the central government?
Sir, after pandemic, CMIE data have been revealing that our unemployment rate is quite high. Recently also the data has come and it's about 8%. And regarding your question, who generates jobs? So currently it's the prerogative of state government. However, central government is also ensuring skill development through Union Skill Development Ministry. And it's also the prerogative of private companies. However, for them to have conducive environment, it is the responsibility of center as well as states. But the most important responsibility is of the states.
Okay, Antriksh, suppose Government of India gives you mandate to prepare a blueprint by which the employment or employability of youth improves considerably, because you know jobs don't hang on trees. Jobs have to be created.
Right, sir.
If you are given that mandate, then what concrete measures you will be suggesting in your report to ensure that unemployability, number one, doesn't happen, and employment avenues, opportunities also increase manifold?
Sir, I believe it's a two-way issue, which is a demand side issue as well as supply side issue. On the demand side, as you rightly pointed about unemployability, I believe we are having a curriculum which is not up to the standards that are required in the modern era. For example, if I come from mechanical engineering, we are still studying machines, example lathe, shaper machine, and welding. However, there are CNCs and 3D printing, 4D printing is on the line as well. So we are not getting knowledge of that. There is a lack of industry academia linkage. That means demand supply jobs are not there. If I talk about supply side issues, so currently it has been seen that India is not able to generate jobs up to its potential. For example, in labor-intensive industries like textiles, it's the second largest employment generator. But we are still lagging in it. For example, because of lack of automation in textiles or lack of machinery, lack of scale. So I think there are issues at both sides, and companies needs to understand what exactly needs to be done to be relevant. For example, R&Ds, research and development, and innovations, etc. So these things needs to be done.
Okay. You must have gone through the new education policy of the government.
Right, sir.
Do you think it is this policy is going to be a step in the right direction for creating jobs?
Yes, sir. I believe it's a right step by the government. However, it's still a policy, and implementation needs to be done. It will take time, I think, but critical learning and focusing on vocational training. I think this will eventually leads to employable people, and it will increase employment.
One last question, related question. As per the latest guidelines, which is still under discussion, you don't require knowledge of mathematics to pursue so many engineering courses. Do you think it is a proper step, without knowledge of mathematics pursuing engineering like architecture and all?
Sir, I'm not very sure about this thing. However, I read it in bits and pieces somewhere. So currently the argument is that maths should be there, because in many engineering streams there is engineering mechanics. In architecture also there is a huge role of dimensions and how are we exactly getting out the spacings. So I think mathematics should be there. However, there are certain chapters which can be excluded. It may include probability. So we can ensure that such stream related mathematics course will be there. For example, architecture doesn't need probability. So I think such kind of arrangement can be done.
Suppose I am a I passed out +2 without maths as a subject, and then I am not qualified to pursue my degree in architecture subject like architecture or allied subjects.
Sir, I think mathematics should be there. However, bridge courses can be there. If someone has not done his +2 from mathematics, he can have a bridge course, and after that he can pursue architecture or any mechanical engineering.
But is there exercise in futility?
So that again depends on which stream are we going to pursue, and what are the skills, mathematical skills especially, which are required.
Okay, thank you.
Antriksh, what is the meaning of this expression widely used, forex?
Sir, it refers to foreign exchange, which includes gold, special drawing rights, foreign currency assets, etc.
And what is this special drawing rights?
Sir, special drawing rights are with regards to International Monetary Fund. These are kind of quota which is provided by IMF to countries, and in crisis of balance of payments, etc., or other crisis, it can be used. It's a basket of currencies actually.
How many currencies?
Sir, 5 currencies.
Which ones?
Sir, the US dollar, pound sterling, euro, yuan and yen.
Okay. When was yuan added into this basket?
Sir, recently itself, I don't remember the year. Sorry.
Okay. And who manages forex in India?
Sir, it's RBI.
And how they manage it?
Sir, I'm not very sure about the meaning of how they manage it. However, they are into using that forex reserves for various utilities. For example, investment in treasury bills of US and other such aspects. So that's how they are managing forex reserves.
You are a mechanical engineer. Assuming me to be a layman, introduce me to this study. What exactly is mechanical engineering?
Sir, mechanical engineering is called as mother of all engineerings. I think if I have to tell in a layman understanding, so anything that we have in this room is having mechanical enginering's role in it. For example, a cup of tea, a glass of water, even the pens, all requires mechanical engineering application of some sort.
Okay. So we are working under some light. Apply this mechanical engineering concept to explain that this utilization of light involves mechanical engineering.
Sir, I'm not sure about utilization of light per se. However, the dimensions of the bulb, dimensions of the road itself must have mechanical engineering regarding to size, because light use efficiency will be more based on a certain optimum size, and definitely simulations have been done. So that's how mechanical engineering is there in such things.
These electric vehicles are going to use lithium batteries.
Yes, sir.
Widely. But there is some concerns also in India about it, and worldwide concern. What are the concerns in growing potential use of electrical vehicles and lithium batteries?
Sir, for India specifically, lithium is a scarce resource. We don't have reserves in India. However, we are having MOUs with the South American countries, that includes Venezuela. We are actually into mining of this crucial product. However, there are certain other issues also. One being because of lithium-ion batteries, we are moving from coal to lithium. It's just transfer of forex from one resource to another resource. We still won't be self-sufficient, and as we have seen in Russia-Ukraine war itself, if country is not self-sufficient, there can be issues with regards to that. So particular concern with lithium-ion battery is that itself, that we are not self-sufficient in it, and we need to look at alternatives, and we are looking at it. IITs are conducting research on iron-ion batteries. India is also conducting research with Israel on aluminium-air batteries. So surely we'll find another alternative also, which will be more reliable and more safe for India.
Considering the crisis which has taken place in Sri Lanka, and considering growing pollution in the Indian cities, and Delhi is the most polluted capital of the world for several years, do you think that Government of India should boldly cut oil imports?
Sir, I don't think it will be a prudent step, because we need to first conduct source apportionment studies, like what exactly is the source of pollution in Delhi. Considering the fact and considering
not only pollution, oil import is involving huge amount of expenditure of this scarce resource, foreign exchange, which can be used in more productive resources. And this cutting oil import may also induce producers of electrical vehicles, and of course it will reduce pollution. There are so many benefits.
Right, sir, but outright ban won't be required, as otherwise the similar situation that Sri Lanka is facing right now, because of the outright fertilizers ban, the similar situation will be there. Because if we have to develop EVs also, we need infrastructure, we need charging stations, etc. And if we are blankly and blindly stopping the imports of oil, it is going to impact a lot of industries, and it won't be good for economy at all.
Then why the government is raising the price of fuel, petrol, diesel, CNG, LPG, everything? Is it not to discourage consumption and to reduce demand in the domestic sector so as to be able to cut import?
Sir, it's not like that. It's a necessity nowadays. Oil is a necessity, and I think whatever the rate is, demand is going to be somewhat similar. If I take the example of oil price that is increasing, it is because of international prices. Government has currently no role in it. And I feel because of the changing rates itself, there won't be any much impact. However, there will be impact in definitely post-pandemic recovery. That is another aspect. However, it does not discourage consumption at all.
Okay. Thank you, Antriksh.
Antriksh, coming from Punjab, we have seen recently the elections happened in Punjab.
Yes, sir.
Now, one thing that was coming to my mind was that if you see any manifesto of any political party whatsoever, it has been a new trend to announce freebies, which may not be very good in terms of economics as far as the India is concerned. Because what we can actually see that as Sri Lanka is going with such type of crisis, we may also go in such situation if we are actually, if the states may adopt certain practices as some of the states are actually promising for. So what is your opinion in this regard?
Sir, I think it's a policy decision. However, budgetary constraints are there. For example, Punjab is under the debt of almost 2.82 lakh crores. And this needs to be addressed well. So, for example, we need to ensure that agriculture is booming, industry is booming, so that taxes or non-tax revenues are there. If there are budgetary constraints, I think these schemes are not good at the face value. However, the indirect benefits that it can provide may be good.
The similar kind of trend was seen in Uttar Pradesh. The same trend has been observed in Bihar, and now, of course, in some parts of Uttarakhand, and of course, in other states. Now, what can be this possible solution in this regard?
Sir, I think all the political parties must refrain from announcing any populist measures. However, I am not going into political arena. I think budgetary constraints are there, and parties and governments must ensure that all those social security schemes that they are announcing
I'm talking
are in
about
line.
These steps needs to be taken. You're talking something like the political parties must come in consensus with each other and try and resort to some certain behaviors. I'm talking about what should be the solution to this problem, because this is actually plaguing the nation right now.
Right, sir.
Please.
Sir, I'm not very sure about it. because otherwise it will be, if I'll say that outright declaration of these schemes should not be there, then it's not fair with political parties either. So I don't see any solution right now. I'll read about it more.
Okay. Also, Punjab has been in news for a variety of reasons. One is, of course, the nationalistic sentiments that are there. Patriotic sentiments are very much there, because when we see the history of freedom struggle, we actually, any of the bureaucrats will actually inspire. If you could recall somebody who has inspired you in your life, anybody?
Sir, it will be Lala Lajpat Rai.
Okay, why Lala Lajpat Rai?
Sir, he took a moderate to extremist stand. He was not very extreme like the freedom fighters. However, the path that he took was more about mass politics. He was not a very blatant extremist, and that is why his sacrifice, his valor is very much reflected to me.
That's all from myself.
Antriksh.
Yes, ma'am.
In sociology, there is a concept of Sanskritization.
Yes,
Then
ma'am.
there is another concept, Dalitization. Can you tell me what is that?
Ma'am, in sociology, firstly, there was a concept called as Westernization. After Sanskritization, we were saying that people of country from across the caste are acquiring the values of West. That includes individualism, that includes meat eating, alcoholism, etc. So, Kancha Shefford, who is also a Dalit sociologist, he emphasizes that it's not actually the Westernization that is taking place, it's actually the Dalitization. So we are not basically imitating Brahmins in Sanskritization, but we are imitating Dalits, because their culture, their food is similar to alcoholism, similar to meat eating. So this is what Dalitization is.
That is all? There is no other aspect to Dalitization?
Ma'am, I'm not aware of it in other aspects.
Isn't it in regard to the reservation that is available for the community, and people actually, trying to appropriate the identity to gain these benefits?
Thank you, ma'am. I just got the point now, that communities such as Marathas and Jats, they are actually trying to showcase themselves as lower caste to gain the benefits of reservation. So that is also aspect of Dalitization, where you are trying to showcase yourself on the lower hierarchy.
Okay. The word Dalit actually has certain connotation to it, with which many are not comfortable on one side of the spectrum, whereas Dalits themselves want to be identified as Dalits and not by any other term. Can you tell me what is this connotation with regards to term Dalit?
Ma'am, this Dalit term came to fore during 1960s and 70s, when there was a huge Dalit literature by Dalit scholars, and it means the one who is exploited, the one who is oppressed. It's a self-acceptable term for Dalits, because the other terms, for example, Harijan by Gandhiji, it was way too positive, which was not reflective of the actual realities. However, the other terms like asparshya, achut, these are very, very discriminative. So that is why they are more insisting on usage of word Dalit.
Does it have anything to do with the element of militancy in it?
Ma'am, I'm not sure about it.
Have you heard about Dalit Panthers?
Yes, ma'am.
What was that?
Ma'am, it was a party in 1970s in Maharashtra, which was on the lines of Black Panthers Party in USA. It was actually arguing for more rights for Dalits.
Okay. In your DAF, I see there is this word of refrigeration and cooling and AC.
Yes, ma'am.
India has recently ratified the Kigali Amendment. Can you tell me what is it about?
Ma'am, Kigali Amendment is a part of, I'm sorry, I don't remember the convention. However, Kigali Amendment, Montreal Protocol, right. And thank you for that. And it includes phasing out of HFCs by how much percentage I don't remember, but the year is 2047.
Good. Why was Montreal Protocol brought in to phase out what?
Ma'am, it was regarding ozone depletion.
Ozone depleting substances,
Yes,
which are?
That includes bromine.
Just give me the cumulative term.
Ozone depleting substances like CFCs, HCFCs.
Right. So these were found to be ozone depleting, whereas the HFCs, which were brought in to replace these substances, were found to be
globally
neutral to ozone.
Right.
Then why did we have the Kigali? What was the need? Because Montreal was successful.
Ma'am, actually we do have another convention also, which is regarding to Framework Convention on Climate Change. And later we get to know that because of HFCs, it is having a huge global warming potential.
Right, okay. That
So that is
answers
why.
my question. Your name is Antriksh,
Yes, ma'am.
and we do have an organization named Antriksh in India. What is it?
Ma'am, it's the commercial arm of ISRO.
Right. ISRO already had Antriksh. Still, we brought in NSIL. Have you heard about it?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is that? How is it different from Antriksh?
Ma'am, I'm not very sure about the workings. However, one is related to Antriksh Corporation specifically is related to private launches for foreign countries also. But NSIL is more included into private launches for domestic companies and ensuring that private companies in India are indulged in satellite making and
That brings me to another question. That would be my last question. Why don't we have private space agencies in India like we have SpaceX or Blue Lagoon, outside?
ma'am.
Why is it that?
Ma'am, we have stepped in this direction already, and InSpace and other regulators are coming to ensure private participation. However, of late, private participation was not allowed because of strategic reasons. There were threats of geo-mapping, etc., so that our locations of important establishments will be prone to other countries. So that is why it was termed as a strategic area. However, of late, understanding the benefits of private participation in terms of innovation, in terms of designs and applications, in terms of disaster management, border management. So private participation is now coming up, and India is also having a target in this regards.
Thank you, Antriksh.
So Antriksh, you graduated with BTech
Yes, sir.
and your optional is sociology.
Yes, sir.
Did palm history motivate you for this?
No, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes.
And what eventually led you to take sociology?
Sir, choosing sociology was kind of practical reasons. That includes mechanical engineering was a lengthy subject. It would have taken 8 to 9 months to cover it. However, sociology is a small subject, and apart from that, there are certain pull factors also regarding sociology. That includes...
That would be it as regards the question is concerned.
Okay, sir.
The next question is, what is the difference between Article 32 and Article 226?
Sir, it is about writs that are given to Supreme Court and High Courts.
Respectively?
Yes, sir. For Supreme Court, it's Article 32, and for High Court, it's Article 226. However, there are various differences. For example, under Article 32, it can only be enforced in case of violation of fundamental rights. However, in Article 226, it could be for any violation of any constitutional right. And
what is the difference between fundamental right and a constitutional right?
Sir, I can give you example like Article 300A, which talks about right to property, which is not a fundamental right but a constitutional right.
All right. So what about statutory right?
Sir, statutory rights are related to laws. For example, National Food Security Act. It gives you right to food. So that's a statutory right.
So for the violation of my statutory right, can I take the shelter under Article 32 or should I take a shelter under 226?
Sir, not under Article 32 for sure, but I'm not aware of Article 226.
All right. Aren't you forgetting one essential difference?
Sir, I don't remember at this moment. Sorry.
Remember, I thought you would contemplate. So you're relying on your memory.
Yes, I forgot.
That's okay. Right to approach Supreme Court is itself a fundamental right under Article 32.
Yes, sir.
Which is not the case for High Court under 226. One of the most important difference. It's an allegation that sociology and common sense are antonyms.
Right.
One has got nothing to do with the other. Would you buy that statement?
Yes, sir. When we study sociology, we consider it as a science because it is dependent on various empirical evidence. However, when it comes to common sense, there is no empirical evidence as such. It is based on folklores and our common basic understanding. For example, if I talk about religion for some, it could be commonsensical notions regarding religion, and there can be a scientific explanation to it also. So that's how they differ.
All right. So your interesting hobby, palm history. Tell me, William Warner.
Yes, sir.
Does it ring bell? What is he famously called as?
Chiro.
Chiro.
Yes, sir.
So Chiro, did he explain the difference between lines and mounts?
I'm not sure about differences he gave. However, whatever literature I have read, so lines are related to like darker lines or lines, broken lines, etc. are relates to one's life, one's heart, one's fate. However, mounts are having different connotations. For example, there is moon mount, there is Mars, Jupiter, Mercury, and every mount is having different connotations attached to it. Suppose a line.
Very good. It's an allegation again that since the lines keep on changing in a palm, ignore palmistry for a while and go to astrology, wherein you check your birth chart. Are these two sciences complementary, if at all, if I can call them science? Or do you think palmistry and astrology are completely poles apart?
Sir, astrology deals with the positions of 9 planets, Rahu, Ketu, and we have 12 houses. According to that, we get to know the life chart of a person.
Correct.
It is said to be more of an indicative, like more general phenomena will be given by astrology. However, when it comes to palmistry, it's a personal attribute. Lines are very different in case of hands of people, and lines are also made scientifically itself based upon our position in womb, based on our how much fluid, amniotic fluid in the womb did we have, and pressure points, and how our brain is thinking. So line changes based on that.
Why is it that Down syndrome kids have only 1 or 2 lines on the palm? Is there any reasons for that?
Sir, as far as my limited understanding, it's related to the pressure points. Basically, if you'll allow me to use my hands.
Sure.
It's basically whenever we are in a womb, the baby's hands are like that. And these are some pressure points which are connected to brain. So suppose if the fist and if there is any issues with brains, the lines will be less because the pressure points are not exactly giving you lines. So these are few reasons that why Down syndrome people are having fewer lines.
Fewer lines. Excellent. Thank you.
Antriksh,
Yes, sir.
you have been excellent in palmistry and astrology, I believe. That is why you explained in so many words.
Sir, just a basic understanding.
Okay, once you are at workplace, how are you going to impress your boss? By your sincerity, by your hard work, or by looking at his hand?
Not at all, sir. I think karma and palmistry are equal to each other, I think. I believe in that also because as I said, line changes. So if you are inclined towards calm, hard work, then it will definitely be reflected in your palmistry. And regarding boss, so definitely hard work is the way.
Okay, last question before we let you go. Suppose if earning money was never an issue to exist in this world, then what would you have chosen to become?
So I can't think of only one occupation. If I have this luxury, I would have ventured into more and more things, be it art, be it other sciences, because if one is not really concerned about money, then he has all the luxury to learn and expand his knowledge base as much as he can.
But not in metaphysical or ethereal world. Okay, thank you very much, Antriksh. Your interview is over.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Sir, may I come in?
Yes, come in. Sit, Antriksh.
Thank you, sir.
So how was your experience, Antriksh?
Sir, it was good. I got to know so many things about myself only.
Okay. This is going to be your first attempt at the interview or?
Yes, sir. It's overall my first attempt.
Overall, first attempt, very first attempt you are here. Wonderful. Antriksh, you are a very young boy and you have all the qualities of head and heart. I must tell you, we didn't find anything seriously wrong in you.
Okay, sir.
Your interview went extremely well, by and large. Minor aberrations may be there here and there,
Right.
but overall impression I am telling you, you are an extremely good candidate for the civil services.
Thank you, sir.
Honesty of purpose, integrity, your body language, your patience, the way you interact with the board members, your variety of your knowledge on variety of subjects.
Right, sir.
These are the important attributes of a civil servant. How you work under, how you react under pressure, so your social traits. These are basically the things which are evaluated in your personality. It's not only test of your knowledge. Knowledge
Right, sir.
by and large has already been tested. So you have come bang on all those parameters, and have no reason to believe that you will not qualify unless you have done pretty bad in sociology. If you have done fairly good in sociology, take it from me, you are going to get very good marks. Just maintain your cool, keep your head on your shoulder, and this battle is won.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Otherwise, coming to smaller points, like Punjab is an emotive issue for you. You belong to Punjab.
Right.
Whenever state-specific question is asked from this side, you have to choose your words very carefully.
Right, sir.
Free-wise also is a very debatable issue, whether as a man of common prudence, as a common citizen of the country, everybody feels it is wrong, but you try to support it. It's okay. And I don't think that there is anything wrong in this. You could have taken some other stand also, but if you ask me my personal opinion, I think that is you are entitled to hold that opinion, and you did that.
Yes.
Anything you want to ask from us?
Sir, I just want to know a few things that I can improve. For example, if there was informality in my language and in body language terms.
Like one or two things, not informality I will say, but while talking to our colleague, you got stuck somewhere.
Yes.
Then you sought some time. Sir, can I think for a minute? He said, okay, 10 seconds. Then after that you said, sir, I don't remember. So if you have somewhere in your mind that yes, I can reflect in 10 seconds quickly, very quickly, then you say or you just gloss over.
Got it, sir.
Isn't it? Because again, it says that time was given, opportunity was given, and this boy did not make best use of the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Like that. Otherwise, you have every right to gloss, because you are a wonderful candidate. That's why I am telling you all this. If you just ensure that these small hiccups are not there in your interview, nobody can stop you from getting less than 200 marks. I can tell you for sure.
Yes, sir. I'll work on these aspects.
You work on these aspects. Otherwise, you are a very young and boy with fresh and innovative ideas, fresh look, youthful look, and any government will like to recruit a person like you and give a proper training so that you become an asset to the country. Okay, all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.